Hello, listeners. This is Lee Price.
This is Will Ford from Football 365.
And you're listening smartly to At the Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast, although I would describe it as the Chelsea FC podcast.
Magical from Eden Hazard. Kai Havertz in the Champions League final. Ivanovic! In the middle, it's just behind him. But it's tapped in by Higgins here. Matic with the ball driver. Matic takes the net off. Hat-trick hero. Cole Palmer wins an epic, sensational game.
It's time for another episode of At the Bridge Pod, your number one Chelsea FC podcast. Coming up on this episode,
Wesley Fofana got injured, Lauren James and Micah Hermano got injured, and Chelsea drew. What a shit weekend. Oh, welcome back everyone to another episode of At the Bridge Pod, and I am joined in the virtual room filled with some Lions, and I have Tom, the cat is here. I've got Ollie, I've got Chris, and I want to know what your moments of the weekend were.
I didn't have one. I can't lie. I wanted to come with something, but I didn't have one. I'm sorry.
That's amazing.
I enjoyed my game on Sunday morning until the last minute. We conceded a last-minute equaliser. But I actually enjoyed playing in the game. I did not enjoy my Saturday game. My girls lost on Saturday, and it was like, one of them days where nothing goes right. And
Yes.
You just can't wait for the final whistle to go, and you just want to go home. It was one of them.
Yeah, are we talking about football or just life? When you think this day needs a final whistle, just blow it. I've had enough.
Yeah.
Oh man, you know what? That's a good segue because on Friday night, I said I haven't got it queued up. I won't do that to you, listeners. I was buzzing for the weekend, and I said I was finally healthy after weeks of feeling rough. And guess what? Woke me up at 2 a.m. Saturday morning, a lovely sore throat, and by Sunday evening, as you can tell, all nasally. It's not a full-blown cold, but it's still nasal. My immune system saw my optimism and said, "Not today, wanker." Oh, I couldn't believe. Honestly, I put it in the Discord. I've caught the Chris immune system. I was like, I can't believe it.
Does anyone else feel as though colds seem to be lingering for a lot longer these days?
I just don't think they stop. I just get enough.
I just think we're older. I think you don't fight it off as well.
It
could be that.
But guess what? I always bring football highlights, and on Friday we went to South Korea. Today we're off to Vietnam because in the V League, Hugh Thang said, "Why not? Why not?" And he casually scored a worldie from his own half in a 2-2 draw between Vitel and QNK Gwangnam, and it has to earn the classic drop. So good. Oh my word.
Was an unreal goal.
And I've never watched any highlights from the Vietnamese league, and I probably
Really?
won't.
Oh, God's sake, get with the programme.
So,
I'm watching them every week.
I really hope there's a listener right now in Vietnam that goes, "I know exactly the goal you're on about, and I'm so grateful you gave us a shout out." I would love that because I don't know if we do have listeners in Vietnam, but I would love to know. And of course, before we dive into news, Shevva Shoutouts, we've got 2 from Spotify. One is a very good call out on me because I fucked up. James, you said Vitality is not the name of the Brentford ground. That's the Bournemouth ground. Brentford's is called the G-Tech. You're right. I have no fucking clue why I said that. But then again, on Friday, I also referred that Brentford are in the same position as Bournemouth in the table. So kind of see why my brain went there.
You had Bournemouth on the brain.
Well, and clearly I was getting sick because Saturday morning. So that's why. And L House 75 at Chris. So here we go. I don't disagree on the take on Delap. I think he's 5 years off being the killer we need. Haalands are once a generation and we should have gotten that business done. To your point, Palace is his level. What are your thoughts on Mateta for a reasonably priced option in lieu of Delap, who has proven in a shit side can finish with his head and both feet? I rate him, but curious on your guys' thoughts.
I would take Mateta.
Again,
as a backup.
Yeah, is another backup striker. So it depends what we want. Like, honestly, if we're saying Jackson's number one and we're signing a backup, I wouldn't be against Mateta or Delap for a backup.
Yeah.
But if
No,
they're
I'd agree
saying that
there.
that's our marquee striker signing, then
Yeah.
that's a load of bollocks because they're both backup strikers.
I'll be really blunt here. Get that idea out your head. Never happening because he turns 28 this year in June.
I I,
Won't
I
happen. He
think as
won't sign.
well. No, I think Mateta has the potential to be another Demba Ba.
Oh, I love a Denver bar.
Like
Oh,
Demba Ba was
yes.
so good at Newcastle, and then he came to us, and without being the main guy and not starting every game and having sort of the team built around him, he didn't quite hit the same heights. I think Mateta could be exactly the same. I think he's thriving at Palace because the team's set up for him, and he
Mm.
knows he's going to play every game. I
Yeah.
think it's different coming in to a team where you may or may not play, and you've got to adapt to how the manager wants you to play.
Do you know what's wild? It still blows my mind that Demba Ba was only at us for a year and a half. He joined in January, finished the season, obviously, played the next season. That was it. He was off. I still
Yeah,
can't
no.
believe
Cult
that.
hero.
Yeah, look at his impact. He'll be forever in law because of the fact that Gerrard slipped and Demba Ba went boom. You know, what can I say? That was the game that Salah and Gerrard were on the pitch as well together. If you know, you know. Oh, did you please tell me you saw that going around about Salah and Gerrard together on the pitch?
No.
Oh, because they said, imagine if Gerrard and Salah were on the pitch together now, it'd be incredible. And then some Chelsea fan tweeted the Demba Ba slip.
That's
Gerrard and obviously Salah was in the
That's a shithouse award.
Yeah,
Lovely.
I loved it. I really did.
brilliant.
All right, listeners, you know the drill. I just need to tell you what I snuck song title wise into my script on Friday. It was the Foo Fighters, and a lot of people got that. I
got it.
You did.
This
You
week.
did. I've already got my idea for Friday, but we'll keep that quiet. And of course, I want to remind you and highlight an incredible initiative coming up by our partners Head in the Game. 12-week mental fitness football program aimed at improving both mental and physical well-being for men over 18. It's the second session, and it is literally coming up in 2 days' time. Wednesday the 9th in Bexley, 6 p.m. at Lee Academy 3G. So
Be there.
if you're near there, go there. I say it's really good, and I've heard some really positive stuff from people that have gone to the Dartford one. So yeah, that's what we're about. Check it out, and yeah, have a good time. So let's move to some news. He's not ready for the drop. Guess who's broken? The biggest news from the weekend broke on Saturday night and broke my heart, broke your heart, and probably broke his career. Chelsea confirmed defender Wesley Fofana has undergone successful hamstring surgery. They said Wesley was assessed by specialists this week after the 24-year-old suffered an injury of the muscle. Following that assessment, it was concluded that an operation would be required. And for me, some of his teammates might call him sick note. And honestly, I would not argue against that because before I obviously go to the other two, I'll say this, listener. Let me make my opinion on this crystal clear. Fofana ignored medical advice earlier this year. He then tried to make Maresca look delusional, which, you know, at times Maresca is, but on this case, he wasn't, for calling it a long-term injury. And the whole thing has aged like milk. Aged like milk. I was shocked, but I was also not shocked at the same time to see that he's out for the season. I mean, he was in. Go on, Chris.
What I don't understand is it's fine. Well, it's not fine, but he's ignored the medical advice. Yeah. And because he wants to play, fine.
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck have the medical team allowed it to happen?
Oh, I think we know our medical team are shit, Chris. Come on.
If he's ignoring the advice and saying, no, I'm fit, I want to play, it doesn't mean we have to play him still. Mm-hmm. You could still say, well, no, mate, you're injured, tough. Like, you can't play. It's great that you want to. And, you know, with the money you're on, you should want to. But you can't. So, tough. But, no, we kept picking him. And then he's got injured again. And he's out for a long time again. And it's time to sell. Because what is the fucking point?
Yeah, look, he was in. I think he was in I think pretty much all of us had him in our last chance saloon segment, which will come back this year. And now for me, it's time to call it on Wesley Fofana's Chelsea career. 70 million, 34 games in 3 seasons, 95 games missed so far. Only doctors spend more time in hospital than he does. He's one of the worst signings we've ever made. And that's such a high bar. We have Lukaku, £97.5 million. And yet I would say Fofana, when Lukaku screwed up his career pretty quick because he didn't really want to join, he didn't want to be here, but he did kind of want to be here. Then he did the interview, then it all went to complete and utter shit. But Fofana, we knew what we were doing. He was already he did have injury issues before. Yes, a broken leg it's still an injury, but it's hardly like a ligament or whatever. But the thing is, I don't know what we do because he's contracted till 2029. So,
and if we do want to sell him, you're going to get 20, 25 million max for him.
well, yeah, because he's not. When does he play? I mean, we don't
Because
know how
he's
long
not a
he's out
real
for the
player.
surgery. Not a real player.
He's never fit. Like, and even when he has played, he hasn't been outstanding to the point where people are like, "Oh, I want to take the risk on him because he's so good." He's okay. Like, you're hoping really on foreign clubs, French clubs, maybe Italian clubs.
Same, maybe.
But yeah, but I mean, I'll be shocked if you got 30 million or more for him, and that's a big loss for a player who's actually give nothing to us either. He hasn't improved us. He hasn't played well enough to warrant any sort of transfer fee or wages for that matter.
No, and I'm not bashing him as a person. This is because that always gets brought up on Twitter about agendas. I'm talking about him, his reliability at Chelsea. I want him to recover fully. Of course I do. I want him to be able to continue his career. But look, the investment we made and everything that we expect from a player because when we've got him in the team, we are better. But the thing is, he's never fit. And we just have to move on. And it's a shame because he could have become a great for us. He could have. Any player that joins could become a great. You can't just knock it. Even Dewsbury Hall. He could have become a great, Ollie. He really could have.
He could have.
He could have, but he was never going to. But the thing is, it's just not happened. And we just have to move on. We have to. I just don't know how we do financially because fuck knows. Someone did point out to me on Twitter that the PSR hit would change if we sold him. I don't know how. I don't understand the accounting. I'm sure our ownership do, and they know a loophole or two. But we'll see what happens in the summer. But now we definitely need a centre back, a top class one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you know what the thing is like it's really bittersweet with Fofana because you can clearly tell like he's a talented kid and like he can do it. He can do it all when he's fit, but it just we at Chelsea we have to be in the business of winning trophies and being ruthless, and it means we can't afford hangers on. We can't afford 2, 3, 4, 5 players who are injured for most of the season. Like you've either got to shape up or shape out and unfortunately, he was already in the last chance saloon because, he's averaged something like £2 million of his transfer fee per game he's played for us. So it's like, what more do you want us to think as Chelsea fans? We like Wes. We think he's a good guy. We think he stands for good things.
Yeah, 100%.
But at the end of the day, he's just you can't be a footballer if you don't play football.
No.
And
we need to stop buying injury-prone players.
Yeah, do you know what? The other thing, didn't we do that in-depth medical or whatever when we bought him in LA? Do you remember that?
Yeah, that went well.
That went well.
Yeah.
It's weird though because I think if you look at from when Abramovich took over to sort of his last maybe year, we never had injuries like this. We never had players who was constantly injured. Probably because we sold them if they were.
In the last year or two, we actually did though, because
so I mean, in his last couple of years we did.
Yeah,
but I mean, in the 20 years before that, that's why we sold Robben. Like, look how good Iron Robben was.
Oh,
he got injured a lot, so we sold him.
Yeah, but that was the standard. As much as
you had to play then.
Someone's going to say, "Oh, but you in hindsight you regret it." Everything in hindsight looks great, and I'm not like it's lovely when we get a prediction right and we go, "Oh, look at that, I'm an oracle," but that's not. It doesn't. Hindsight is wonderful, but it just doesn't work out like that.
Yeah, I'm really disappointed in the fact that Wes is going to be out again. I don't know what we do from here. I think a lot of people will say sell him as we are. But to be honest, like Chris says, I'm not sure if anyone is really going to take a punt on him. I don't know if the plan at the club is to actually let him go or not. So, like he might stay, and if he does, is he just going to be another one of these Lavias, where he comes back, he plays a handful
Yeah,
of games, he's out again for a long
yeah,
time, like it just. And especially with the way that we are as a club right now, we need the consistency. We need players who are able to turn up every week. Like the,
yeah,
the real quality we're getting from our squad at the moment are from likes of Caicedo and Cucurella and players of that ilk, even Enzo Fernandez, players who can turn up every single week,
yeah.
without any issues. And Fofana, yeah, like you just, I don't know. For me, you can't be good at Chelsea part time.
And it doesn't rain, but it pours for Chelsea because we had two more injuries confirmed, which was for the women's team. Lauren James pulled out of the England team with a hamstring issue. That actually seems to be risky. We don't know I'll be honest, we have no idea on both injuries because obviously there's another player I'm going to bring up now. But Lauren James, we had details brought out about, which was hamstring. So I'm like, okay, that's worrying. Micah Hamano was withdrawn. Apparently, at the time, it just said she was withdrawn injury, but apparently it's an illness. So some kind of bug or whatever. That's obviously easy to recover from than a hamstring,
Yeah, that's better
depending
news.
on what it. That's better. But of course, when you look at the women's injury list, you've got James Ramirez has got some discomfort. You've got Wrighton. We haven't. When did we last see her?
Before
Jeez.
the international break, she got injured in the
Yeah,
last international break, didn't she?
yeah. Sam Kerr obviously still come back from an ACL. We got to take time with that. It's an ACL.
Yeah.
Buchanan ACL, Sophie Ingle ACL, Germa calf,
Jesus.
lifting foot, and
Didn't
Mpome?
realize quite how many
Unknown.
injuries we had.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Germa hasn't properly had a chance with us because obviously that calf injury.
Yeah,
So,
she came in immediately and got injured, didn't she? But
yeah.
yeah, I can't lie. I'm very worried about Lauren James. The
Yeah.
genetics
Yeah.
don't tell a strong story.
Hope. Well, she has had surgery. So, hope. Not recently. I mean, she's had surgery on that hamstring issue before. So, hopefully that's, yeah. Yeah, we'll see what happens with any more updates on that. So we we get to head to winners and losers
Mm.
because we headed down.
Yay!
We went down to the Vitality. No, we didn't. We went to the G Tech. We went to the G Tech to
I
take
wish we went to
on.
the Vitality.
It'd be nice. We went to. Well, funnily enough, the G Tech do Hoovers, and this game sucked, didn't it?
Well,
So,
hey, like that. Well done.
well, we took on Brentford, and here's this. In a game that felt like someone accidentally leaned on the snooze button for 90 minutes, Chelsea's Champions League hopes took a polite slap to the face. Enzo Maresca, presumably prepping for a Conference League showdown like it's the Champions League final, left Cole Palmer and Nicholas Jackson on the bench. It's a bold move. Didn't work. The first half, a tactical experiment in frustration. Chelsea fans chanted, attack, 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 while the team responded with pass sideways, panic, repeat. Noni Madueke had the only shot on target. Yes, one shot on target. Brentford, true to Thomas Frank's word, were aggressive. Kevin Schade and Brian Mambermo spent the half turning Gusto and James into background extras. Darmsgaard nearly scored with a header that forced Robert Sanchez into his yearly save. The second half, well, enter Jackson and Palmer like Marvel heroes, the Avengers, only to realise they forgot their powers at home. Jackson made things happen, but missed the post by an inch. Palmer curled one at the death that kissed the crossbar and said, not today. The final whistle went 0-0, Chelsea with 21 shots, 0 goals, vintage chaos energy. Maresca blamed the fitness, the moon cycle and maybe Mercury in retrograde. Whatever the reason, this gamble didn't just backfire, it exploded in slow motion. On the bright side though, at least Maresca's saving his best for Legia Warsaw. Oh, Brentford 0, Chelsea 0.
I was dripping with sarcasm at the end.
I don't know what you're on about. No idea.
I don't understand, Mikey, what you're talking about there because Maresca said we played well. He was happy with the performance, but you made it sound like we were shit.
I did a little bit. I've got you already know what I'm going to drop in losers. I have never wrote up a list so quick. But we kick off with the winners as always, and I want to know who you've got and how many in just general winners and losers you've got.
I've got 3, but to be honest, it was a tough time finding winners.
I got 3 and 3. Easiest 3 and 3 I've ever had.
I've got 2 and 4.
Yeah,
Totally understandable. And
I can back that.
I was expecting Chris to say something about my winners. Like, have I gone very myself here and then nothing to do with Chelsea? And you might be right there because my first winner was actually Thomas Frank. A winner because he, when asked what he thought of the Club World Cup, he hit us with ridiculous. Who wants it? I won't watch it. I'll enjoy summer. No chance. And you know what?
Legend.
Honestly, same. I won't be watching either unless my sleep
Well,
schedule
he's
suddenly
such a
switches.
grumpy fuck, isn't he? Like,
Maybe he's right. Unless I suddenly switch to Pacific time, I'm not watching it because half the games kick off at 3 a.m.
yeah, that's true. But he is he is a grumpy individual.
I have zero interest in
like
the
him.
Club World Cup.
Yeah,
We should have
that's
had
a
him.
shock, mate.
Could have had him. No, we had to go with Maresca. But Chris, who's your first winner?
I've got Reece James. Because he got booked quite early on in the game, and he's up against Mbeumo, who I think is their best player. And I actually think he did okay in terms of keeping Mbeumo relatively quiet. There was that one which I thought he was a bit...
where he struggled a bit.
Yeah, there was one which I think he was a bit unlucky with, where it sort of bounced off James, then bounced off Mbeumo and went behind James for Mbeumo to run onto. But that's not really getting beat. That's just more of a bounce of the ball. I don't think he was beat too often. I think Mbeumo was relatively quiet in the game. And playing at left back for some bizarre reason, I thought he did an okay job in, let's face it, a performance where there was no one better than okay. So
I couldn't agree more. Ollie, first winner.
Might seem a bit of a strange one considering you came up earlier. Keenan Dewsbury Hall. I actually thought so. Yeah, I know. So this is a slightly odd way to put this, but Keenan Dewsbury Hall is regularly, when he plays for Chelsea, the worst player on the pitch for both teams. Is that a fair thing to say?
yes.
And in this game,
He wasn't.
He wasn't. He was just he was just there. So I feel like for him that's like a pretty good upgrade. I thought he cut about okay. I thought he made decent decisions okay. I thought his passing was basic but fine. Like he was just there. And to be honest, him being just there is fine with me. So he gets an upgrade. Well done, Kiernan. Yeah, the wedding's coming soon.
Wow. Okay. My second winner was Burnley. At kick-off on Saturday, they were sitting third in the Championship behind Leeds and Sheffield United. Fast forward a wild 90 minutes, they beat in-form Frank Lampard's Coventry City. Sheffield United lost to Oxford and Leeds drew with Luton. And just like that, they're top with 6 games to go. And I thought, maybe we'll be seeing Scott Parker in the Premier League again. It'd be nice if all 3 promoted teams didn't actually go down without a murmur next season. But you never know. You never know.
There is no hope for that.
Chris, who's your favourite? Who's your second and final winner?
I've got Chelsea.
Fuck's sake, where's this going?
Yeah, can't wait to see where this goes.
Because I think we are, and have been since November, absolutely fucking dreadful. But we are incredibly lucky that so is almost every other team in the league.
Yeah.
The fact that we are clinging on to 4th place, having won 4 of 15 games, is absolutely horrendous for the league. It's a really poor advert for the Premier League to have a team that's won 4 games in 15, 4th. I think is embarrassing. But we are really lucky. We are incredibly lucky that Man City are as bad, if not slightly worse than us. And everyone else behind is inconsistent as well. So that makes us a winner because we might get top 5 just because everyone else is so shit.
Honestly, yeah, we will get Champions League football despite us this year. Despite how I'll play.
And then if we do, I don't want to hear anyone say that we earned Champions League football because at the moment it's almost like the league are trying to give it away and no one wants it.
That's true. Ollie, second.
Second winner for me was Jackson. I didn't think he was amazing. I want to
make a difference, though, didn't it?
Make that abundantly clear. But the level of difference between him and another individual was so stark that it made him look like he's going to win the Ballon d'Or. So
wow, we are blessed. We are.
If only he could finish.
Right, my final winner was it's me. Oh, hello. I've made the list again. I'll tell you why I'm a winner, listener. I only watched from minute 25 to half time. That was not by choice. That was because my PC hadn't been updated since 2022. That was my mess up. I've solved that now. But at the break, I did the smart thing. I shut it down. I touched grass and went for a sunny walk with my girlfriend, and it was bliss. And I said to her, I said, Chris will message me at the end of that game saying, I missed nothing. And guess what? I missed nothing. So,
Oh, you really did miss nothing.
no, nothing. Ollie, final winner, please.
Final winner is just Caicedo. Amongst
fair.
Always a winner.
Yeah, amongst a sea of shits, he is the shining light. Well, as per just because he's always good, isn't he?
He is.
Yeah, there's not much really more to say about Caicedo. It's just like standard Caicedo performance, which means he was like an 8 out of 10.
Yeah. Right, this is why you're here, listeners. The agendas are ready. They're flowing. Oh my word. Losers. I can't tell you how many the losers there are. I'm going to kick off with a man who I think is on Ollie's list. He might even be on Chris's list. He might even be on your list, listener. I have got Christopher Nkunku. Let me hear
He's not on mine.
Wow, Chris, did you watch the game?
No, I'll let you go because I'm assuming he's on Ollie's because Ollie has him
Ollie
on there
did
every week.
suggest that. He hinted.
It's not my fault, it's his.
Yeah, that's so fair. That's
right,
so fair. I'll let you guys say why, and then I'll say why he's not on mine.
So, from the moment that team sheet was released, I was pretty sure it was over. He was played out of position as a striker, so I knew straight away he'd be as effective as a broken condom. And that should be his last ever start for Chelsea. Because, look, let's put it really bluntly. The bloke doesn't want to be here. He doesn't run. He doesn't press. Honestly, I've seen my own houseplants with more energy. And I'll bless you with some stats from his dazzling 45-minute shift. He had one shot. It was off target. He created 0 chances. And he was the only player on the pitch with 0 defensive contributions. He didn't make one. And I get it. I'm being honest here. I get it, Chris. Not you, Chris, but Christopher. I get it. You want out. That's fine. But if you genuinely think Bayern Munich or another big super team are looking and watching you now and going, that's Harry Kane's partner we've been dreaming of. You're out of you're out of form. You're out of touch of reality. No, why would they sign you? Because you could say, oh, it's a Chelsea problem. But suddenly, if at least make some effort because it's starting to look like your attitude is also a problem. And we're going to command a fee. We're not going to go, oh, he's £10 million. No way. It's going to be like a 45 million fee. So I'm not being funny. You want some significant, confirmation that your investment is going to actually play and put some effort in. And right now, every time I watch him play, he doesn't care. And that pisses me off as a fan. And I'm sure it pisses off listeners because, we'd all kill to, play for our club. We probably wouldn't be the best, but we'd show more effort and we're seeing nothing. And he's making the money he is and he puts no effort in. It's so annoying, especially from what we expected from him when we signed him. Ollie, a loser. Why?
Where do you start? I mean, first of all, it's probably on Maresca as well for playing him in the first place. Because it annoyed me the comments he came out with after the game about saying how with him it's not a lack of effort. Because if it's not a lack of effort, it's your coaching, mate.
Yeah, you didn't watch the game then.
Yeah, the sun was in his eyes, wasn't it? It's too sunny.
That was great.
And so I have a few real gripes. So I sat down to watch the game, and I was like, I'm just going to watch Nkunku for like a good 20 minutes. I'm just going to watch him and see what he's doing. And it's interesting, Mikey, that you said that he had no defensive contributions whatsoever. Because he also only had 3 touches in the opposition box. So what is he like? What is he doing? Like, is he doing his best mannequin challenge? I don't understand. Like on several occasions, right? He is the striker, right? Whether we like it or not, whether the team enjoys it or not, he is the focal point for the attack and in the system, and that's what we have to do. And several times we're flooding forward in attack. We've got Sancho out on the left with the ball. We've got Madueke who's screaming down the right-hand side. Enzo's diving into the box every opportunity he's got. And Kieran Dewsbury Hall is doing his best to keep up there, right? And And then you think, okay, well, where's our attacker? Where's our fox in the box? Where's our striker? He's out on the left wing. What are you doing there? You're creating this huge gap where, like, even if you're not going to get the ball, you could drag a Brentford defender away. You could make a difference in terms of like who gets the ball, because so many times we crossed it to absolutely nobody in the box against Brentford, which again is a bizarre choice considering the height of their team and how bad we are with scoring headers. But the other thing that really bothered me is that his teammates don't even like him. And because I was watching him specifically several times, right? I saw Robert Sanchez tried to pass it twice, like sort of far in field for Nkunku to like run onto it. Nkunku just didn't bother, and it was intercepted by a Brentford player, and it generated chances. I don't like Sanchez doing that either. He shouldn't escape criticism either because he had a really poor game. But like he's clearly not working. He's clearly not working for his teammates. I saw Sanchez have a go at him. I saw Noni had a go at him. I saw Enzo Fernandez had a big go at him at one point in the middle of the game. And like the other thing that I'm just struggling with him is like his decision making just isn't what it was at all. Because here's a really good example. He's a player who almost never runs in behind, right? And there was at one point I was because I was watching him. I saw him try and like make that kind of run in behind, and I thought, oh well, that's quite clever. Except he made that run when Caicedo had the ball and he was facing our goal. Like he wasn't looking forward, and he couldn't have passed it to anyone to then knock it over the top on the first try. So I'm looking at Nkunku there, going, how do you think he sees you? How do you think he's going to know? Oh, Nkunku's making a run now. I'm just gonna, turn around, do a 360 with a back heel, and just knock it 30 yards into his path. It's like what is the decision making? What is the effort? What is like everything about the way he's playing at the moment makes me sick to death of him. And I just, again, it's on Maresca for playing him, but it's gone on for too long. He's got to go. He's got to be the first one out the door in summer.
Before I ask why he wasn't a loser for Chris, I will say that lack of effort is what upsets me and other fans the most, because like even at times when I love Torres, I love Fernando Torres, and it was at times he was so poor and people would go, it's like playing with 10 men. But never did I look at Torres and say he doesn't care. He doesn't put the effort in. He tried so hard, maybe too hard, and that's why he didn't, get to hit the ground running too quick. But he tried, and you cannot hate someone or dislike them for trying and putting the effort in. Christopher Nkunku doesn't care, and it's just like
people
what's
went
the point?
after the game. They're like, oh, he's exactly like Werner. I'm like, no, Werner actually scored goals and put effort in and created chances. Like, Werner is 10 times the player for us that Nkunku is, and it's not even close.
Exactly. Chris, why was he not a loser for you?
He wasn't a loser for me because I think the lack of pressing thing. We don't press as a team, so there'd be no point in him running around up there anyway, because there was no press. No one was trying to press. The wingers wasn't pressing. The midfielders wasn't pressing. We wasn't trying to win the ball back high. So actually, if you watch, he's doing more of a screening job, allowing the centre halves to have it and trying to cut off passing lines into midfield, which does look incredibly lazy, but must be an instruction. He's a very different type of forward to Nicholas Jackson. And for me, it's like the team don't know how to play with him, which can only come from a lack of training it on the training ground. I think if your plan as a coach from Thursday was Nkunku's going to start up front on Sunday, then surely the work should have been with Nkunku up front before the Brentford game. And it doesn't look like we do any of that work because
why would we do it any differently?
Because the midfielders seem to be looking for Jackson's runs when Nkunku's on the pitch, and he doesn't make the same runs Jackson does. He's a different type of player, which, like you've said a lot, Ollie, we need a striker who's a different profile to Jackson, but that's pointless if we can't play with different profile strikers and we're not going to adapt our play based on who's actually up there. Everyone knows Nkunku isn't going to make runs into channels, so why are we looking for it? He's not there. You have to try and find him where he is.
Yeah, in his car on the
There-
way
there-
home. That's where he's gone. He's going. He wants to go home. That's where you know he's running. You go home time. I'm off.
there is a lot that he is responsible for, but I also think there's a lot that is out of his control as well in terms of how the team's set up and where he's playing and how it doesn't really suit his strengths. And I think he has not become a terrible player overnight.
No,
Because
no.
to be fair, he was even good in pre-season this year. So he hasn't become a terrible player overnight.
Yeah, but
So
Ross Barkley was always good in pre-season.
There's something else going on with that. And I think he's another player who he's come in, he's been shit for us. We'll sell him on. And it's another case of signing a player and incredibly mismanaging them.
Signing a player and not knowing what you actually want to do with them.
Yeah.
So, Chris, your first loser is actually.
Malo Gusto.
Oh, he's my third one.
He was one of mine. He had a horrible game, didn't he?
I mean, I can imagine somewhere there's a Brentford podcast who's give him man of the match because I thought he was their best player. I'm pretty sure he passed the ball to a Brentford player more than a Chelsea player.
Wow.
I think he must. Maybe the sun was in his eyes.
I've only found two, Chris. I found Across the Seas, Forever Bees, and the Bee-Sotted Brentford Pride of West London podcast. Hey, I would love to talk to him.
Yeah. I thought he was dreadful. I don't think he did. I thought his defending was poor, on the ball really poor. He had two opportunities to cross the ball and he put them both behind the goal. I don't know what's happened to him this year because last year he was one of the best right backs in the league. And now he looks like he would struggle to get in a championship team.
You know what? I'll tell you what is my loser. And this man's only crime is being coached by Enzo Maresca. I'm genuinely serious.
So true.
Gusto is being forced into this weird inverted fullback cosplay bullshit. And it's killed his game. You know, he's not a hybrid midfielder, defender, triangle, whatever you want to go for. He's an overlapping wingback with.
He's not a triangle.
But he's got so much sauce. He cooks so well on that wing. You can't throw a fish up a tree and get mad because it's not climbing. If you put him back in his natural habitat, bombing down that right flank, you'll see him cook. You'll see Gusto under Poch. Stop neutering him. Let him run free. Because if you sell him, biggest regret. It'll be a huge regret because he will flourish, but he will not flourish in an inverted role. It just won't. You put Didier Drogba in goal, absolute disaster. It won't work. It won't work. But you play him in the proper position. Oh my word, it works. It's amazing what happens. I will touch on this later in another loser, but we need to stop this bullshit when we see something trendy and we go, oh, we'll copy that. Oh, look, a defender in central midfield. Oh, look, it's the Kimmich role. It's the John Stones role. Not every player can do that. Sometimes it happens, but everyone copies it and it doesn't always work. It's fucking irritating. Ollie, anything to add on Gusto?
Not really. I mean, I'm just really disappointed in him at the moment. Like, I feel like as much as we can say that he's in a role that's unfamiliar to him. By this point, it's kind of not unfamiliar to him. Like he's been playing in this format for like almost a whole season now. Like he needs to know the score. And but what do you get from Gusto? Like, what do you expect from Gusto? Right? You expect technical security because he's good on the ball, a little bit of pace, and good enough decision making. Right? And against Brentford, it made him look like he had absolutely none of them. Because he was sloppy with his passes, he was giving the ball away, he was, taking heavy touches, like Chris said, like his crossing wasn't great, and it's just really frustrating because I know if we had him high and wide where our wingers are, we'd probably be getting a lot better out of him. But also, I think it's dangerous to just blame the coach on this one because he's had long enough to adapt.
Yeah, but he can't play that role. That's not fair
well,
on him.
I don't know. I think I think he's technically secure enough to be able to play it. But the thing I'm struggling with personally with him is that he's got to learn. He's got to find a way somehow to make it work for him because otherwise he's going to be gone. Like
Wow.
like you say, maybe that's not fair. Maybe it's on the coach. But at the end of the day, I know he can play this role. I know he can because we've seen him do it.
Well, I just don't think it's going to suit him ever. I don't. Chris, who's your second loser that's not? No, yeah. Who's your second loser? But do not pick the obvious name that probably Ollie and I have got on this list.
Trevor Chalobah.
Oh,
Interesting.
interesting. I'd
Was he
love
poor?
to hear more.
I didn't really watch him much.
You're
Erratic.
busy watching Nkunku, weren't you?
Yeah.
Erratic all game, diving into challenges. Most of Brentford's most dangerous attacks came down his side.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah,
Charlotte cooked him quite a lot.
Yeah, just really poor in 1v1s. Didn't defend the box really very well. Didn't command the back line. Just a really poor game from him. I don't think it helps the fact that we seem to have a different centre-back partnership every week in the most crucial area of the pitch where you need to understand what your partner's going to do and you need to find one that works, and we haven't. We've failed to do that all season. Because we've backed a horse that's got three legs in the fact that Fofana and Colwell will be able to play together all season when we just knew that wasn't going to happen. So I feel a bit sorry for them, but yeah, really poor individual game from him.
Okay. I'm going to send out that tweet to the B Sotty podcast. They might reply whilst we're on air. That'd be cool. But I'm really curious. All right. Okay. Who have we got? Who is the final loser that we've got on all our lists? Oh, my word. Not for the first time this season. Not for the last time this season. It's Enzo Maresca. And is that a full house team?
Yeah, it is for me.
Of course, he's on mine.
Right. Look, I'll be.
That's the agenda, isn't it, Chris?
Yeah. 100%.
Yes, is it?
He lost me instantly with that. What might be the worst Chelsea starting 11 of the last decade. I saw Reece James, the left back. Why isn't Quaresma starting? I saw Jadon Sancho over Tyreek George. Why? I saw Nkunku up front again, despite Maresca saying multiple times this season he doesn't see him as a striker. Meanwhile, Nicholas Jackson sat on the bench with his boots laced. Can he not play 2 games in a week? Because we're going to have to next season. Yeah, and you do realise Champions League football is 2 games a week. So, Cucurella, he's our top scorer this year. How mad's that? I mean, I don't know whether the Nkunku move was a shop window stunt, a passive-aggressive message to the board for, we need a new striker, because it put us on the back foot from the kickoff. And then the post-match, I mean, first of all, the sun. Oh, well, it was sunny out. Oh, piss off. It was sunny. It was sunny. What
the conditions were perfect, Mikey. You don't understand.
Look, I mean, and then I heard, I rested players for Legia Warsaw midweek. We're not playing Real Madrid. No disrespect to Legia Warsaw. It's Legia Warsaw. It's not Real Madrid.
Despite the fact that we were told this week that certain players didn't play against Spurs because they saw Brentford as the more important game.
That starting 11 did not tell me that Maresca thought this was the more important game.
No, clearly,
totally the opposite.
Warsaw was the most important game.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. It's small club mentality.
Yeah.
It's exactly the sort of thing that West Ham would have done at this stage of the Conference League because they really want to win that trophy because it's a massive trophy to West Ham when they win it. So maybe they would have rested players in the Premier League and prioritised that. We should win the Conference League with no effort whatsoever. I don't even think he should even have to give the games any thought. He could rock up on the day and draw the team out with a wheel and we'd still win this competition. So the fact that he is resting play, I said it in the group chat. it's for me, it was a team selection from a manager who has no belief that we are going to get top 5 and very little belief that we might even get top 6. So he is thinking if we win the Conference League, at least that is Europa League guaranteed. Because through our league position, we're not going to get there. The bloke's a clown. When he opens his mouth after a game, he makes it even worse. He somehow manages to put on the most boring games of football in the history of the game, and then come out afterwards and make it worse. I don't understand what anyone sees in him. He's got no tactical nous whatsoever. His team selections are bizarre. He thinks he's at Leicester still. He needs to go.
Right. I'll say that, and this is also lumping in what you just said, Chris, because I'm defending you here before it's even an attack started. This is not an agenda. So don't come at me. And I mean that in general. I know our listeners don't do that. Some other accounts do. Don't come at me with that nonsense. It's not an agenda. This is an intervention. Look, wake up. We need to wake up. Because this manager isn't the guy. Well, what about when we didn't have the injuries and we were on that win streak? Yes, but we had the run of Poch. That did help. And of course, people don't know Maresca. It's like the new manager bounce. That's why it works. Because people don't know how this team is going to play. They haven't worked out how to combat it. And
Correct.
then they do. And that's when a good manager kind of counters the combat.
That's where you manage.
That's exactly. The football is dull. The tactics are chaotic. We have regressed. Players have regressed, and at the end of this double season, hand him his P45 because he's not mid, he's below mid. And one thing what you said about the Conference League is curious. Is the Conference League more important to his CV than Chelsea? Because yes. I think it is, because he can go to a club and go, guess what? I got Leicester promoted champions. I also won a European competition. I'm dead serious. I wonder if that's in his mind.
That will help him. That will help him get the job at Empoli. So that's what he's thinking.
Don't besmirch my beloved Empoli.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't even think they'd take him.
Can't spell Empoli without Ollie.
But on the agenda thing, I said it on Twitter and I'll say it now. When someone pulls that word out, I stop reading the tweet. I generally do. I ignore you.
Yeah, I get bored
because
of it.
It's the laziest way to dismiss any valid opinion just because you don't agree with it.
An agenda is being negative in spite of facts.
Correct.
But I've got facts to back it up. And everyone will go, oh, but we're 4th in the league. Yeah, I've been through this. We're 4th because the league's shit. But the fans actually hate watching us play, which is our problem.
Yeah. It's like Gary Neville said last night, and very rare I go, oh, Gary, I agree with you there. He's right. The Guardiola style of football has made the game boring.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to play safe. That's why Berth will always go, love the Championship. Yeah, because it's chaos. Yeah, but we want to remove the chaos. Yeah, and that's when you neuter maverick players. Look at Grealish at City. You're thinking when he was at Villa, and we're local to Birmingham. I know how much you'd see Grealish on the ball, you get excited. You'd be like, oh, what's he going to do? Palmer last season was the exact same. Imagine Eden Hazard would be one of the most boring players to watch in this Chelsea team not because he wouldn't have the talent, because he wouldn't be allowed to use it. Because if he did, he'd be benched.
Correct.
You're not. What? Look at, like I said the other week, Enzo Fernandez's assist for, I think it was the McAllister goal for Argentina. Oh my gosh, what a pass! He wouldn't make that pass for Chelsea because he's not allowed.
Yep.
There you go. I mean, Ollie, Maresca's a loser. Go ahead.
Yeah, just bizarre lineup, isn't it? From the jump, I was really confused by the choice of selections. I can understand to a certain degree not having Palmer and Jackson in. They just played, I don't know, like they played some of the game, didn't they, against Spurs in a derby. They're both just coming off of a muscle injury. You don't want to re-aggravate that. But if they're not ready to play, they shouldn't probably be in the squad at all, because otherwise, I don't know, like they gave us half an hour. Well, they gave us 45 minutes. Palmer gave us half an hour. And I wasn't really that impressed with them either. I didn't think Palmer really did anything. Jackson looked, miles better, but still really struggled with getting in on goal. But to be honest, Jackson looked like he could have played the full 90 anyway. To be honest
Yeah, he
with you,
did.
and at the end of the day, these are elite athletes. I understand we have to, like protect against injuries. We just spent half an hour or however long
Yeah.
talking about Wesley Fofana, but I don't know. I think there's maybe he's just feeling really cautious about injuries and stuff at the moment because of like what's happened to Lavia and Fofana, and he's worried about it happening to James and all of that. But to then do that and then go, well, clearly we've got to prioritize the Conference League. We've got to prioritize our two-legged game against Legia Warsaw. Who, listen, there's no disrespect towards Warsaw. They're going to be an absolutely phenomenal side, right? They're going to be, they're one of Poland's best teams. But we will cast them aside, or at least we should.
We should.
And that should be really no matter who we play. So
Yeah.
to see us so afraid of them, almost like in this game, or to see us sort of like Chris says, it's a small club mentality thing, and I just can't back it. Like I've given Maresca a lot of stick. I've also given him a lot of grace, but it's just unforgivable. Like, why are you resting our best players for a Conference League game that we could win with our eyes shut? The team he put out against Brentford probably could have won that game, and I again with the rest, like, if you really wanted to rest players, our next 3 games over the next 2 weeks are Warsaw, Ipswich, and Warsaw again. Like, and they've just had 2 weeks in the international break to rest as well. Loads of them are all injured, so it's like if they can't play twice in 3 days for this, and then have a 2-week rest if they really wanted to, like what? I don't know. It's just bizarre, and like the tactics are bizarre, and like everything about it at the moment is just bizarre. And every now and then a player seems to come out in our team and say, "Oh yeah, I like Maresca, he's really good," and for the life of me, I genuinely can't understand why.
I mean, I'd be worried about Ipswich because I'm sure you already know this because you are up on your statistics here. Of all the home games, obviously we're playing them at Stamford Bridge, but still, home games this season, Ipswich have won 1, and you know exactly who that 1 is.
Yeah.
2-0.
The worst thing about Maresca for me, and this isn't a factual thing. This is an opinion. This is very personal to me.
Gender.
I think he's the first Chelsea manager that in my lifetime that I've seen who has actually made me hate the team.
Oh.
We've had shit managers before. AVB springs to mind. And I didn't like AVB because he was shit. But I still liked the team. I still liked watching us play. I knew you thought we was going to lose because the manager's crap, but you still liked watching the team. Even Sarri. I mean, to be fair, Sarri was mainly I'd still watch just for Hazard, but
I think Hazard's doing a lot of heavy lifting there.
Yeah, he was, yeah. But now with Maresca in charge, I almost watch the games in sufferance. I honestly think, and this is honest opinion, I think if I didn't do this podcast, I think I would have stopped watching us and I would have just watched highlights instead. Because
I know that feeling, actually.
There is nothing to look forward to about watching us play. Our players
turn
are
up
boring.
every week being like, why are we still here? Just to suffer?
Yeah, like people slagged Potch off last season because we let in too many goals and we never had control of the game. Like the Luton game springs to mind where, we was 3-0 up and then we almost threw it away.
Yeah.
I would rather see that every week than this.
Well, I understand. It's no entertainment. I mean, the Man United 4-3, the City game, none of those happen under this. It's just true.
Even that Luton game, we was 3-0 up, and then when it went to 3-2, I was pissed off because we looked like we was going to throw the game away. But then when we didn't, the win felt so much better because we'd hung on and won than if we'd nicked this game 1-0, I actually would have been annoyed because I was watching it with my brother and my dad, And my brother turned to me and he went, I think you'll nick this 1-0. And I said, I fucking hope not, because we don't deserve it.
No, you are right there.
So I don't want us to win, and then everyone to think that he's vindicated somehow in his shit team selection and these shit tactics and this shit football he keeps playing. I don't want it. And I honestly, at the moment, I am really struggling because I just cannot support this team.
Well, we're the only team not to win a Premier League away game in 2025. There's a fun fact for you. Mark Cucurella is our top scorer this calendar year. That's depressing. There's not much else you can really say to that. I mean, I'm just looking at our last 8 Premier League away matches: 0 wins, 3 draws, 5 defeats, 3 scored, 12 conceded.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Again, I've been saying it for months now. How are we fourth? Like I've said it for like the 400th time this season. How are we fourth? Like, and Chris is right. It's because the league at the moment is so poor.
It's so poor
that we are ghosting our way into a Champions League spot. But
we'll be
but you're right.
Newcastle
Chris is spot on. Like we won't have earned it if we do get it. Like
no.
Honestly, like it will have fallen into our lap. We will have failed upwards on it. And listen, it might feel like a bit like we're all being a bit moany, right? Because at the end of the day, Brentford, it's a tough place to go. Like and they always treat it like their cup final against us. And Thomas Frank doesn't like us. And they're a hard-fought team who are well organised, very physical. But we had enough to win the game. But not when we saw the lineup. There just wasn't, because we just threw it away for some reason, unbeknownst to me, really why. It just Do
you know what's interesting? You said it's a tough place to go. Brentford are winless at home for 4 months, and they haven't kept a clean sheet till we played.
But they started the season well at home, didn't they? Like, but
it's about the now, isn't it? What have you done lately? And lately they've not been good enough.
Exactly. The point is like, I think a lot of people would the thing that really irked me actually about that stat is that they'd conceded in every single home game they played this season until they played us.
That's
really got on my wick, because I was just like, why couldn't you do something? Everyone scores against these guys. But ultimately a point is okay. There are teams around us who also did lose over the weekend, and and it begrudges me to say it, but Maresca was right when he said, if you can't win the game, don't lose it. But we should have tried to win the game.
Well, as it stands, Newcastle are 2-0 up against Leicester, level on points of us, 1 game in hand.
Yeah, so they'll be above us soon. Like it's a point. You can see it as 2 points got dropped or a point gained. Like, I think the result is okay, but the performance and the personnel involved and the tactics and everything just wasn't good enough. Left a really sour taste.
Emojis. Well, I've got sleeping because
I've still got a loser left.
Oh, sorry, Chris.
Because I had 4.
You did. Who's your final loser?
Done that twice recently, Mikey.
All right, okay. Well, I also don't know where Brentford play.
I've got football.
Correct.
I watched 2 games on Sunday. I watched our game, and then I watched the Manchester derby. And it was
I feel bad for you.
2 of the worst games of football I've ever seen. The Manchester derby was worse than our game.
That was the De Bruyne testimonial, wasn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, mate, absolutely dreadful. Gary Neville said it during the game that football's in a bad way. And I read something the other day that said that most people now under the age of 24 don't watch full games. They just watch extended highlights after the game.
Yeah.
I think football's in trouble because somewhere along the way, the governing bodies of football lost focus on football is an entertainment sport. People watch it to be entertained. Yes, you want the team to win, sure, but you also want to enjoy watching it.
Yeah.
No one enjoys watching football at the minute. It's fucking boring. Every game you watch is the same. It's the same plays. It's the same playing out from the back. It's the same shit. There's no good players anymore. players now that they're like robots. Football now, Premier League football especially, is like watching a giant game of human chess, where players are only allowed to move in certain directions in certain areas, and everything is so tactical that you daren't step out of line because it's like, whoa, 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 what are you doing? What you've tried to do something silly there. Don't do that. Players like Palmer last season, now robot player. Jack Grealish, Villa, fantastic player. Now Man City, robot player. Every single player now does the same thing. Dribble, 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 turn, pass it backwards. If they can pass it 5 yards or 15 yards, they pass it 5 yards. It's boring. And it's at a point now where I think the real people in charge of football have to look at it and think, actually, this isn't going to cater to the younger generation who have the attention span of a toddler. It's not going to entertain them. You try and get now a 12, 13-year-old to sit and watch a full game.
Try to get them to do anything for an hour and a half.
Yeah, they'll be sat on their phone for most of it because
Yeah.
it's boring. They just want to watch the goals. And that is going to be a problem because eventually that means that they'll stop going to games live as well because they can't be bothered because it's boring. At the core of football is entertainment and people want to be entertained. And I think coaches have got to get out of this habit of we want to tell our players everything that we want them to do in a game. Just let footballers play football.
Yeah, I totally understand. I'm like I agree with you. It is boring. That's the thing, and it sucks.
Yeah, I can't disagree, to be honest with you. Like you're right, because I feel like we're losing those kind of maverick style players. Like how long has it been since you've heard a team described as entertainers? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And
it's because coaches who do try and embrace that sort of chaos get criticised.
Yeah, and they don't get the big jobs.
Yeah.
Oh, emojis, sleeping. You already know. I've said I'm yawn, boring.
I'm gonna lean into Chris's final comment. I'm gonna go with the robot emoji because that's what I felt after that game. Robotic.
I'm going to go with the skull because watching us at the minute is worse than a slow death.
Oh, bloody hell. What are we going to next? Oh, of course. Oh, dear. Yeah. I've got to pick someone. Line of the week.
Oh, God.
Did you stay awake, listener? Because if you did, well done. Let's have a look. Who did we go with? I had Enzo. Not bad. Chris, you had Kukurea. Berth had Maresca. Chris, you picked a player that can't play twice in a week. Come on. Ollie had Reese. The wheel went Reese. Who got man of the match? Was it Caicedo?
What we gave one, Jesus.
We did. Yeah, we did.
Fucking hell. Why? Wouldn't have bothered. Of those picks, by the way, I'd go with Reece James. I'd go with Ollie and the wheel.
Nice. Won twice in two games, I think.
Yeah, you have 3 in a row, actually.
The actual line I would say was
wow.
The actual line I would say was Caicedo.
Yeah, I'm going to double check.
The only one who wasn't utter shit.
Yeah, he did. He did win it. Caicedo, welcome again. You've got straight back on that list. Well, I'll find his name in a minute. But what I can tell you is match preview because we're heading to Poland to take on Legia Warsaw in the Conference League. So I didn't write. Oh, I did. They are they 14th in the league? I don't think I wrote this up yesterday. So I'm going to have to quickly pull it up and check.
If they are 14th in the Polish league and he rested players for this game,
you've just made it even worse.
Let me just double check.
I said about them being one of the best teams in Poland, if that's the case.
They are 5th in their league. They have a record.
That's just as bad.
Oh, they're us. Okay.
Yeah. They're not going to win the title this year. No chance. They've got 12 wins,
points behind. Yeah.
8 draws, 7 losses, and their recent form is 2 wins, 2 draws, and a defeat. They finished 7th in the Conference League group stage. They beat Molde in the previous round 4-3 in aggregate after losing the away tie 3-2. Player spotlight. Well, most likely former Wolves player Ruben Vinegri, if you remember him. He has 5 assists so far this season. And midfielder Bartosz Kapustka, who is another great attacking threat for them. The last time Chelsea lost to Legia Warsaw was never, because we've never met them before. So, yes.
They've also got a Japanese midfielder, Ryoya Morishita. I think that's how you say it.
Okay.
I think he's all right. I think he's got a few goals and assists for them this season.
I can't wait for next week when Mikey's preview of the second leg is. And the last time Chelsea lost to Legia Warsaw was Thursday.
Oh,
It's
no.
the UK number one. It only came out last week.
Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, I hope not. I don't know. Who do I pick? Jackson. Yeah, why not? I mean,
he's probably going to play, isn't he? I'm going to
Can't-
go with Tariq George.
Okay.
Can you imagine if he still starts Nkunku in this game?
Honestly,
cry.
I'm going to throw a fit if he does. Honestly,
I would
if
cry.
Nkunku starts again for us this season, I'm going to lose it.
He will.
I'm going to go with Cole Palmer because surely he's going to start after being rested against Brentford. And if he doesn't get his form back against Legia Warsaw, then we are in trouble.
Did you say Tyreek George, Ollie?
Yeah,
He did.
You think he'll start?
Nah, Sancho will play again.
Wow.
probably
His
not,
best
but
ghost impression.
I'm willing to give it a go.
Wheel has gone Jackson. It
Fair play.
knows. Imagine if it had gone in Nkunku. What you doing, Will? Has the Wheel ever picked in Nkunku this season?
Probably not. The wheel knows.
Hang on. I'm just checking. You know what? I don't think it has. Oh, it has. Against Panathinaikos. Okay. Makes sense. Right, there's that then. Questions. And I have got it on my phone because the one question in front of me we're not doing because it's going to be an episode. So you know who that is if you're listening. Let's have a look. Julian, are our wingers shit or does Maresca's style suffocate them? I think the latter.
Both.
Both. I agree. I think it's both.
It's
Combination of
definitely
both.
No Lorsko.
Average players who the system makes worse.
That's true. No Lorsko, do you think we are ready for Champions League? A game every 3 days? Oh no. Our players can't cope. We've clearly made that obvious. Well, Maresca.
I said this to my brother yesterday. I think if we qualify for the Champions League, depending on what business we do in the summer, but let's say we don't do any good business because we don't. I wouldn't be confident of getting out of the group stage. And you've only got to finish in the top 24.
Oh no. Oh.
But bear in mind, PSG and Real Madrid nearly went out in the group stage.
That's true. That is true. Paul has said, was that as boring as people say? I thought it was pretty solid for a 0-0. I will let the people that actually watched all 90 minutes tell you.
It was boring. It was.
Yeah,
the first half was dire. The second half was better, and we tried. Like we were more attacking. We were a better side, but we just couldn't get it over the line.
Right.
I thought Brentford was okay.
Yeah, Brentford were all right.
That Sharders played good, didn't he?
Thought they played okay.
And Vic, why do you guys think Maresca didn't start Jackson and Palmer? I will refer to what I said earlier. I genuinely believe that he wants to win that competition for his CV.
Yep.
I think he wants it more than to win it for Chelsea.
I think he's anxious. That's what I think it is. I think
that's really poor if he hasn't got confidence in his players.
I think he's anxious about injuries. I think that's what it is.
That's just poor, man.
Yeah,
it is if he really believes.
Yeah, that is bad.
But I believe it.
Yeah, you're not wrong. End of show game. We're wrapping it up. We have got Ollie played well last week, so we're going to do it again for the third week. Footballer.
I did all right, yeah, didn't I?
Got it right.
Rolled through it.
I pick a footballer. I keep their identity secret, and the host gets
just 20 questions.
Yes or no. So all you get, you have a maximum of 20. If you can guess once before. So we'll.
This is exciting.
Yes, we have a player.
I forget the rules. Is it one each? Like one potential guess each?
Yeah, I'll let that happen. Even though you work together, I'll let you. I have a player named. Go ahead. Whoever wants to go first.
Okay. Are they retired?
Yes.
Did they play in the Premier League?
Yes.
Are they male player?
Yes.
Have they played for Chelsea?
No. They did on one of my FIFA careers.
Doesn't count. That's not a real career.
To be fair, this is a giveaway. Luis Suarez was one of my best players with Loic Remy on one of my career modes. It's not Luis Suarez, but it was what a duo those two were.
They'd be quite good. Yeah, nice.
They were so good for me. Oh my word.
Okay. Are they known for playing for a team that played in red?
No.
It's a lot of teams gone.
Have they won the Premier League?
No.
Are they known for their time in the Premier League?
Ooh.
That's a good question.
Oh, yes. Yes, I can't say no to that. No, yes, definitely.
I'm honing in on it, I think.
Are they a midfielder?
Let me check Wikipedia here.
I'm thinking, by the way, Ollie, that the fact that he's struggling with this would suggest that they might be a winger.
Yeah, that's better. That's better. That's better. Yeah, well, I'll allow that.
I actually, I'm going to make my guess very early.
So he's a winger.
I'm going to make my guess very early. Is it Dimitri Payet?
No.
Okay. Did he play for any of the traditional top 6 teams?
Who are the top 6 again?
Man United, Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs, I guess.
Okay, I'm only saying because a lot of people change that top 6 quite often nowadays. Yeah, he played for a top 6 team.
Right. Hang on, so he didn't play in red and he didn't play for Chelsea. So
yeah, that has really narrowed it down.
That's Man City or Spurs then.
Yeah.
Right. I'll ask. Did he play for Spurs?
Yes.
Is it Gareth Bale?
Oh, fuck's sake.
Nice.
It was because I knew when you said, did he play in red? I'm like, you mean club level. So I can't say Wales because that would be yes. And then you'd think red club. Southampton is stripes. So he didn't play predominantly in red.
Do you know what, True. Mikey, do you know what? Next time, just answer the question. If he played in red, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't. What for international as well?
Yeah, honestly, because if we don't ask the qualifying questions and think about it, that's on us.
All right. Okay. All right. That's cool. Yeah, Gareth Bale going 10. That's pretty good.
That was pretty good, actually.
Really nice.
I was convinced it was Dimitri Payet when you said it wasn't a midfielder, but sort of a winger.
When we narrowed it down to winger, Tottenham, it was only going to be Gareth Bale because name another one.
Jesus. A Suakoto? I don't know.
Oh, legend.
Aaron Lennon.
Yeah. At some point, we have got guess the player by their career path I've got lined up, but I haven't had a chance to do that because we've been busy. So, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Right. Right. We're at the end of another episode, listeners.
Thank you for sticking with us in this one because we
Thanks
were
for tuning in. We were positive.
Yeah.
Of course, happy to remind you about our partnership with Head in the Game, the mental health charity using football to support wellbeing and community. Check them out, headinthegame.co.uk. Treat yourself well. We'll be back on Friday. We've got winners and losers from our very, very important game, according to Enzo Maresca against Legia Warsaw. So, till then, that will be us signing off. You've been listening to At The Bridge Pod, a Chelsea FC podcast. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram by searching for At The Bridge Pod. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, leaving us a review is always appreciated.